We'll be getting a lot more of that in the coming hour or so. But it is Monday, and first thing on a Monday morning may not feel like a particularly happy time, but today is officially World Happiness Day. The 2017 World Happiness Report, which surveys the state of happiness in countries around the world, has just been released by the UN. The rankings are based on 6 factors, including income, life expectancy and freedom. The UK is up 4 places to 19th, having been ranked 23rd last year. Germany is in at number 16. Where's Germany? Not there. France is 31. But the happiest country in the world is Norway, which replaces Denmark, which was ranked first the last time. Whilst the Nordic countries are the happiest states in sub-Saharan Africa and parts of the Middle East, namely Yemen and Syria, are the least happy. The Central African Republic is ranked bottom of 155 countries, while the US has dropped 1 place to 14th. The report says that is due to inequality and distrust in the country. Well, those countries at the bottom of the list are, of course, poor, with countries like America getting sadder. Does it take more than just money to be happy? Well, Vicky Johnson is the co-founder of the Museum of Happiness, and Annie Quick, the Wellbeing and Inequality Lead for the New Economics Foundation. Both join me now from central London. Vicky, to you first of all, so what does make us happy?
So there's lots of things that contribute to our happiness levels, and money is just one of these things. And actually, we've got loads of forms of capital, and actually love is our greatest form of capital. We've got community, we've got mindfulness, we've got gratitude. And actually, only 10% of our happiness levels are influenced by income and our environment. And actually there's a whole 40% that's influenced on our relationships and actually the activities that we do. And actually there's practical tools and techniques that we can implement into our everyday life that anybody can do to increase your happiness levels.
Well, there you go, Annie Quick. It's not all about money, is it? It's about how well we get on with our nearest and dearest, how much we put back into the community, how mindful we are of our surroundings.
I mean, I certainly agree that well-being is about more than just money, but there's that old saying, I think, that it's easy to say that money doesn't matter when you've got money, and I think actually the data really plays that out. So if you're looking at people who are really struggling economically and financially, then just another £10–20 a week can make a dramatic difference to how people respond to these questions and how people feel that their lives are going. Whereas if you are someone who's very well off, very comfortable, then an extra £100 a week might make no difference. So one of the key things I think we need to do is to think about how to reduce inequality, economic inequality in this country. And it's interesting that the UK came out 19th in terms of happiness, but actually we're the 5th richest country in the world. And what that tells me is that our economy is not doing a good job at translating wealth into good lives. We need a fundamentally new economy.
Vicky, you know, as Annie says there, the UK not a great rating in the survey, and in terms of money and happiness, the top 5 countries, the top 10 countries are all wealthy countries, aren't they? The bottom countries are not wealthy. Does that not prove that money does buy you happiness to a certain degree?
I agree that money can buy you happiness to a certain degree. Yes, absolutely. Research has actually shown that after a certain amount of money, though, your happiness doesn't increase. So I think once your basic survival needs have been met, so security, food, shelter, it's bringing about that sense of security and stability. And after that, so after a certain amount of money, your happiness levels doesn't actually increase. But I completely understand what we're saying. I don't think we necessarily need to grow more wealth. We just need equality and a better way of sharing it and distributing it. Absolutely, and I do think we need a stronger emphasis on well-being and mental health as opposed to just money.
Annie, do you think we do need to think of that? Do you think we do need to, whilst obviously it would be lovely if everybody had more money and if everybody had enough money to clothe and heat and feed their families, do we need to also invest more in things like mindfulness, in things like happiness, in things like contributing to the community, helping people's mental health and helping them feel better about themselves, things that do appear to be proven to help your happiness?
So I certainly wouldn't dismiss all of those things. My real concern with using those interventions as our primary response to these kinds of statistics is that we know that if you're already doing quite well, you're in a much better place to be responding to those kinds of messages. So if you imagine the kinds of health and well-being advice that is out there, perhaps from the NHS around healthy eating, exercise, it's much easier to do that if your life is going pretty well already. What I think the last couple of years has been showing us is that people are really struggling, particularly not feeling in control of their lives and saying that they want much more control. And that has to do with rising house prices and being priced out of the housing market. It has to do with insecure jobs. It has to do with a crisis in public services. So those things are absolutely crucial, and tackling those things, I think, will also help those people who are struggling the very most in our society, which for me is the first priority.
OK, I'm probably going to leave it there. Annie Quick and Vicky Johnson, thank you both very much.
Let's show you